All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about the metaverse and specifically the stock Meta. There's some pretty shocking statistics out there. I want to go through them, and I want to talk about the future of Meta and Facebook. So this is not one of my normal videos. I usually focus on small cap, high growth stocks, but this is worth talking about. This is something that I've been very interested in since the day that Facebook changed their name to Metaverse, which I will tell you, I think was one of the biggest mistakes in the history of all publicly traded companies. And it has been playing out that way, and I don't think the pain is over for Facebook. Okay, so I always start out by just looking at where the stock's at right now. So it's trading at $131, but I want to look at the market cap. The market cap is $352 billion. So this still is the 12th biggest company publicly traded in the US. So it is still a mega cap company. However, I want to go to a chart. I like to put these things in perspective. So this is a chart of Meta's stock. So it is now META stock ticker. It used to be Facebook, of course. So this company got as high as $1 trillion back in September of 2021. So it was $1.065 trillion. It's now trading at around $350 billion. That means this company has lost $700 billion in market cap in the last basically 1 year. To put that in perspective, there's been less than 10 companies in the history of the United States stock market that have ever even been $7 billion or larger. Never mind lose $700 billion in market cap. This is one of the most catastrophic downturns in a stock of all time. It's lonely in the metaverse. The radar data suggests that decentralized land has 38 daily active users in a $1.3 billion ecosystem. So now I've switched over to the metaverse here because obviously Facebook has linked their future to the metaverse. They went as far as to change their name from Facebook to Meta. Facebook's one of the most highly branded companies in the history of the world, and that branding is invaluable. So that really told me the day that happened, I was shocked, I was stunned, and my first knee-jerk reaction was Mark Zuckerberg thinks that Facebook is done. If he's making this change, he knows something we don't know, and there are bad days ahead for Facebook. And it would not be unusual for a technology like this to have reached its peak and then decline. This is, in the social media world, it is ever evolving, and we all know there are multitude of apps that have come out since then that are competing with this. Most specifically, TikTok really seems to be grabbing a lot of users away, and I think younger users have long since left the Facebook platform, so that does not bode well for them. This is Meta's core business. It's still 99% of their revenue. So we're going to look at their numbers. Their numbers have fallen off. They are no longer a high growth company. I think the narrative here was to switch over, change their name to Meta, talk about the metaverse, and talk about how that is the next big thing, and that's going to be even bigger than the last thing. But the problem is, Facebook was over $1 trillion company. There's only been about 7 companies in history that have made it over $1 trillion. It's hard for them to say they're going to switch gears into something new and duplicate what they did the first time. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this article, but essentially it said, according to data aggregator radar, the Ethereum-based virtual world Decentraland has 38 active users in the past 24 hours, while competitor The Sandbox has 522 active users in the same time. So those are unbelievably low numbers. Those round down basically to 0. So there's actually a little bit more people than that logging onto these. They count active users as users that actually bought or sold. So their numbers are a little bit better than they appear. But still, you can see this is a technology that's nowhere near ready. Everybody knew that, and there's more and more talk about it. I want to go to a few articles that have really focused on this. First of all, you have Michael Burry weighing in. He was the big short guy. He seems to be very bearish in nature, so I take this with a grain of salt left on its own, because this is not the first thing that he has called to the downside. But he's saying, Big Short Michael Burry says Facebook is in big trouble. The list of critics and detractors of Mark Zuckerberg is growing day by day. There is, of course, the financial community, analysts, and investors who are merciless about the Meta platform, the entrepreneur's empire of social networks. Meta shares are down 62.3% since January, reflecting a fall in the market cap of nearly $570 billion. And we just looked at that, and it's really more like $700 billion now at this point from its all-time high. His billionaire peers Elon Musk and Mark Cuban mock him. I'm not the only one who feels this way, clearly. So it was back on October 28th that Mark Zuckerberg put out this short video, and then a few days later, a longer video. This was introducing Meta. So he basically was letting the world know Facebook is changing its name to Meta. He spent 6 or 7 minutes on this, and then he did about an hour or an hour and a half video deep dive on this a week later. Those were not well received at all. And like I said, when I saw this video and I saw their stock ticker change, it's very rare that I have a feeling that strong where that just seemed to me like it was one of the biggest blunders of all time. And it was an open acknowledgement that their entire platform, which is Facebook, I know they have a lot of other social media apps. Facebook is their flagship app, and it was clear that they wanted to start moving away from that unbelievably well branded product that they had. So that does not bode well for the future of a company. So they wanted to replace it and say, here's something new. This one's even bigger and better. You'll see. But it's gotten off to a very slow start, and I personally don't think that the metaverse is ever going to be what people are talking about. That doesn't mean it's not going to exist. I think there is a version of the metaverse that exists. I think it has a lot to do with Web 3.0 and the future of the internet, and things will happen there and money will be made there. However, I don't believe that most of the population is going to sink into a world of virtual reality and start buying land in what is actually an infinite universe. So all this investment into the metaverse, I just don't think it's going to be as big as it is. Okay, I just want to go through a bullet point list from this article. This was from just a few days ago. Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse is getting slammed in internal documents. An empty world is a sad world. That's a quote from an internal document from a Meta employee. Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg announced about a year ago that he was betting the company's future on the metaverse. So far, it looks like a bad bet. Zuckerberg renamed the company he leads Meta to emphasize the transformation, but the main metaverse that the social media giant is offering to consumers, Horizon Worlds, has fallen short of expectations. Internal documents show that the company is grappling with glitchy technology and bored users in its largely unrealized virtual world, according to the Wall Street Journal, with the following among the key findings. So I just want to go through these quickly because none of this is good news. So Horizon's user base has steadily declined since the spring. Most users don't return after the first month. So that's one of the core things that you look in these new technologies online is stickiness. You want to get new members, but you pay a lot to get new members. So you need them to stay. And it would appear that their members are not staying. Meta wants users to create their own world using Horizon tools. Less than 1% are doing so. Most of the worlds built by creators are never visited. Under 10% are visited by at least 50 people. An empty world is a sad world, noted one internal document. So this is their whole concept, and it's obviously not playing out at all at this point. This next one, I think, puts it into context, because you're talking about what was a $1 trillion company. They have a tip feature rewarding creators for their efforts. It has generated payouts of under $500 globally. Cumulatively, Horizon Worlds have brought in only about $10,000 in world payments. So $10,000, this is a $1 trillion company. So they're a year into this, and there's basically have not gotten off the ground at all. Now, I don't think anybody expected that the metaverse was going to take over in the year 2022, or not even really in the year 2023. This is a project that's out in the future, but this is off to a much, much, much slower start than anybody would have anticipated, in my opinion. The consumer end of this metaverse, I don't believe is ever going to come to fruition. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, and only time will tell what the answer to that is. But I'm going to get to another article where even Mark Zuckerberg talks about that this is far out into the distance. Okay, retention rates for the Quest virtual reality headsets sold by Meta to access Horizons have dropped in each of the past 3 years. So this is their access to the metaverse, and their sales are declining. So obviously, again, another awful indicator. And lastly, Meta's goal of reaching 500,000 monthly active users by year's end looks unlikely. The company recently changed the goal to 280,000 from less than 200,000 now. Okay, lastly, real quickly, this was in the Motley Fool yesterday. These 7 words from Mark Zuckerberg will make you rethink an investment in Meta Platforms stock. Okay, so I'm gonna get right to it. The 7 words are, it is a vision that's far out. And he's not using that term as they did in the 70s. Essentially, he's indicating that we're years and years away from this being what they're looking for it to become. So the full sentence is, Zuckerberg said there's potential for the metaverse enthusiasts to soon wallow wallow in a trough of disillusionment. And then he's saying, because it is a vision that's far out. This is lowering expectations drastically right here. Facebook had billions of users worldwide. This was a gigantic monster app, and it is going to be very difficult for them to duplicate that type of success in something different. So lastly, I want to take a quick look at the chart. This is zoomed out a little bit. Back to early September of 2021, which is just a little over 1 year ago. You'll see this purple line at $384. So the stock was trading up around $384. And again, that was $1 trillion market cap. They reported earnings in February of 2022, and you're going to see this gap right here. They were down in 1 day, something along the magnitude of 28%, which for a stock their size is astronomical. That's one of the biggest one-day losses in market cap of all time. It may be the biggest, I'm not sure. So I would not be surprised. I'm not predicting they're going to crash on these earnings. In fact, they are now so oversold that there's the potential that they could have a decent recovery rally over the next, year. The question is this a company that's going to be a behemoth going forward? Are they going to be one of the top companies in the world? And that's how they present themselves. And that's what their shares are trading at. Even now, with losing $700 billion in market cap, if I look at the largest companies traded in the United States, so Apple is first at $2.2 trillion. Meta is still sitting here at number 12. They're virtually the same size as Walmart and Visa, and ExxonMobil. I mean, can they maintain this level over the next 5 years and 10 years, as most people look at this as a long-term investment? So are they going to be the growth company that they were? Or has this leveled off and Facebook/Meta, maybe they've seen their best days? Facebook was right there in the top 5 and it's not there anymore. And I'm just not sure it can ever get back to that point with what they're currently doing. So I'm a skeptic of the metaverse. I think it's going to take longer than anybody thought, and I think it's going to be less than anybody thought. That doesn't mean it's not going to exist. I know there is a metaverse. It's already here and it will be enhanced, but I don't think it's going to be what Facebook bet its entire future on. So those are my thoughts on where Facebook is/Meta, stock ticker META. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think of the metaverse? What do you think of what Facebook did? Drop a comment below, please. And of course, everybody, if you made it this far, remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.